Reporting live from Hyper's Club for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abba. It appears that the conversation around Kevin Hart's Netflix roast is still continuing as many debate whether the roast was just comedy or was Hart at the center of racism and selling out. Just over a week ago, Netflix would premiere this special feature to its millions of viewers in what was presented as a celebration of Kevin Hart. Now, what would anger some, especially many black viewers, were the harsh comments that steered away from Hart himself and looked to be jabs at black people by white comedians. Not only would a joke told by Tony Hinchcliffe anger viewers as he mocked George Floyd's killing, it would be equally upsetting for some to see Kevin Hart laugh while this joke and others took place.
Done good though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you right now. George Floyd is looking up at us all laughing so hard that he can't breathe. God bless you, Kevin. God bless this room.
On Monday morning, Dr. Umar Johnson, who is a well-known activist and social commentator, would release an over 30-minute response going after the roast and Hart, who he said made an ass out of himself for money. While speaking to Art of Dialogue, he would reveal some of the jokes he took issue with, such as Kevin Hart is so short they will have to lynch him from a bonsai tree. He did well in Saudi Arabia because they thought he was the monkey from Aladdin. And his ancestors came to America on a slave ship in a bottle. Guess who wrote these jokes? A group of 17 white men. Now, during his response, Umar would go on to challenge Netflix for featuring these types of comments. I want Netflix to know we not having it. We not having this. We're not going to stand by and let white folks manipulate our comedians into making the ass out of themselves on TV for money, so they can make it look like black people don't mind being treated like porch monkeys. Now, when focusing on the joke about Kevin Hart's ancestors traveling on a slave ship in a bottle, Umar will go on to say, Shane Neanderthal Gillis, he said Kevin's ancestors came to America on a slave ship in a bottle. Obviously talking about him being small, but you making fun of our enslavement, the greatest crime in human history, even validated as such by the United Nations last month. Are you kidding? You're gonna make fun about the enslavement of my ancestors and you're gonna pass it off as comedy? And even felt that this was revenge for comedian Drewski impersonating Erica Kirk in a viral skit. Fast forward to today, Kevin Hart's comedy group and friends, the Plastic Cup Boys, are firing back at Umar and his criticism towards Kevin and the roast. Over on X, Spanky Horton, who also happened to be at the roast, would immediately begin taking shots at Umar. Horton would say, ask him about the school that he collects donations from and blocks you though, in reference to Umar's own controversy of raising money to launch a school for over 10 years that appears to yet be open. Horton would continue calling out Umar's response by making fun of Umar using a notebook to read off his thoughts. He prepared, got a notebook and all, laughing emojis. Now, interesting enough, in that same response by Horton, one user would go on to say, Kevin Hart is a sellout. Old news fam. He stopped being funny after that car accident. I'll leave it at that. Now that comment would end up making its way to Horton and he would go on to say, explain him being a sellout. Please break it down for me, LOL. Now over on Instagram, another Plastic Cup boy would also go after Umar and his comments. Dwayne Brown, who has been a business partner for Hart for years, as well as being in several features of Hart, would also attack Umar's school donation accusations. In the comments of Instagram, Brown would go off with, where's the money he's been raising for his fake school? You focus on the wrong shit. Now, when it comes to Kevin Hart's response to all of this, it appears that he's deciding to remain silent and has continued celebrating the moment. Over on his Instagram page, he would share that the roast would end up being the #1 show in the second week of May on Netflix with 13.5 million views. Now, despite him being happy about that accomplishment, users in his comments wouldn't let him escape the sellout claims. One would go on to write, numbers over your community ain't something to celebrate. While another would say, the views were because of the disrespect, not because it was good. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. As a black comedian, should Hart have created certain boundaries during the night, as Dr. Umar would suggest, or because it's a comedy roast, anything can be said? For more news in comedy, culture, and sports, be sure to subscribe here to our YouTube channel and follow Hype Plus across all social media. And if you enjoy this story, head over to hypersclub.com to get a membership to watch full interviews and more original content. Reporting live from Hyper's Club for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abba.